Hello everyone, I am Pedro Perez, lead guitar instructor in Phoenix, Arizona. Today we're going to be working with the song Oye Como Va by Carlos Santana, arranged for 3 classical guitars by Brad Richard, the lead guitar director. We're going to be discussing left hand fingers, right hand fingers, the subdivision of the rhythm. First, I want to start sharing the score. And I start working with the first 2 measures of the song. If we look at these first 2 measures, they're actually repeating the next 2 measures and repeating it again in the next 2. So it's like a 2 measures idea repeated a lot of time through the entire song. So the song is not as long as it looks. It's a lot of repetition. Once you learn these 2 measures idea, you'll know half of the song. First, I want to start with discussing first the notes and the left hand finger we're going to be using for those 3 notes, and then the rhythm, and then I'll clap it for you. First, we have E, 6th string open, A, 5th string open, and then G, 3rd finger, 3rd fret on the 6th string. So we have our E, we have our A, and then last but not least, we have a G. 3rd finger to fret on 6th string. I want you to notice that I'll pluck all those 3 notes with the thumb using free stroke, all right? Next, let's discuss the rhythm. We have quarter, dotted quarter, quarter, and an 8th note. Let's talk about the first measure first. I want you to be careful with these dots. You see these 2 dots below the E's? And then you see this one right off this E. Remember, this is a dotted quarter. So this dot to its left is telling you that you have to add half of its value. Quarter notes is 1 beat equals 2 8th notes. Half, we gotta add 1 extra 8th notes. So if I just count this rhythm out loud for you, this first measure, 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you see, falls perfectly in 1. This E falls perfectly in 2, but is beat and a half. So it goes through 3rd beat. So we don't play on 3rd beat, and this E goes on end of 3. But as it is a quarter note, it takes 4, and this is end of 4. So if I clap that rhythm for you, it goes 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all right. Like I mentioned before, this is actually 2 measures idea, so we need to see what happened in this one, and then we have the entire idea figured out, and it's repeated through the song. Now what happened here, we start with a dotted quarter. Like we mentioned before, dotted quarter equals 1.5. We have a 8th note. This is end of 2. 1, 2, and 1, and 2, and then 3 and 4 quarter notes. Well, what happened with this very first dotted quarter, measure 2, is actually tied from the previous measure, from the previous 8th note, end of 4. So even though we play this A and end of 4, we gotta keep counting our subdivision, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. If you stop counting your subdivision, or you're counting at all, then you'll be guessing when you should be playing this G. So now if I try to clap for you, the first 2 measures, they go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. All right. Make sure you try the clapping exercise as many times as you need to, count your eighth note subdivision. Then what we need to do next is just put the notes together. 1, 2, ready, go, and E, A open, and your G, all right? Once you got that idea down, you actually just make sure that you repeat that 2 measures idea as long as you need to. One thing I want to help you out before we move on to the next idea in this song, it is how I just execute those staccatos. What I was doing is actually using my right hand thumb. Let me open the screen so you can see my right hand better. So I was doing, playing my E with my thumb, and immediately after stopping the string again, just to make sure that I have that staccato idea. And then when I put it together, it should go like this. 1, 2, ready, play, and right. Make sure you repeat the video as many times as you need to, and play along with me in the video. Let me show you one more staccato idea that is a little bit different than the previous one. Like I mentioned before, I just immediately after plucking these E's with my thumb, I just rest my finger. But now, here, 6th string and 8th string, 5th string. So you gotta be careful, because I just plug my E and stop it immediately, but then right after I need to get my thumb ready for my A. So there's a little bit movement between these 2 strings with your thumb. And if I play for you, I want to look carefully that bouncing between my 6th and my 5th string in order to execute those staccatos. 1, 2, ready, play, and I'm doing this, and then go to the A, stop it, and then A, okay? So be aware of that, all right? Make sure that you just practice the clapping exercise, subdividing the rhythm, and then put the notes, try to execute the staccato as best as you can. Once you have these 2 measures down, it's repeated to the entire song, as you can see. Let's go to the next new idea in the song. If you see, now we're gonna be moving up to measure 13. And now we have these 2 measures idea. Looks easy, but it has its thing going on. Low G, 3rd string open G, 5th string open A. So the new note we have in this and this song up to now we're adding 3rd string G. So you have your low G, high G, and your A. If we see what happened rhythmically, it sounds a little bit similar as the very first measure. We have a quarter note, dotted quarter, and 8th note. In this case, this 8th note and a 4 is not tied at all to any note in this measure. We start instead with the 8th note rest. We have a quarter note, 8th, quarter note, and quarter note. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. If I clap it for you, 1, 2, ready, go, and 1, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. All right? Now we need to notice that all your lower bass notes, G's and the A, are staccato. So now your thumb, it'll be a little bit busy when it comes to these two measures. If I play for you, follow the score and try to look my right hand whenever you can, and then I'll open the screen so you can see me closer. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and sorry I messed up with the G, going to the A, and I repeat the G instead of the A. If I play for you, I want you to pay attention how I'm bouncing back my thumb back to the string, the 6th string G, so I can stop it. And then I want you to notice carefully, so for my P and I, I'm using, like I said before, we're using free stroke, but now in this case, for my 3rd string G, I'm using my index and middle finger, but the rest stroke. So free, rest, rest, and free, okay? 1, 2, ready, go, and make sure that you just try to play along with it, and you can pause the video and repeat as many times as you need to. Let's go to what I call the 3rd idea of this song. Now you notice we're gonna move on to the next 2 measures. It looks like every idea is 2 measures long. But of course, this one is repeated like 6 times. Then we have this 2 measures idea we already finished discussing. And now we go to this new one, but the 3rd main idea. It looks super easy, perhaps the easiest, right? Because we have only G's, the low G. But if you notice, all the G's are staccato, very short. And then here you have quarter note rest and a quarter note rest between these 2 G's. So you have to make sure that you count, all right? So if I play for you, 1, 2, ready, play, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just holding my finger down, just making sure that you just plant my thumb back immediately after I play those G's, back on the 6th string again, so I make sure that they are very short and detached, okay? 1, 2, ready, go, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, without counting. 1, 2, ready, play, and you look carefully what I'm doing with my thumb. It's basically this. Imagine that you're subdividing your 8th note, 1 and 2 and 3 and. So you need that bouncing back and stop this G, all right? Like I mentioned before, this might be the easiest idea in this piece. So we already talked about the first 2 measures, first idea, then these measures, 13 and 14. We already talked about these 2. If you notice, we repeat back again the first 2 measures from the beginning. How many times this time? Perhaps 4 times. Then you have what we called the 2nd idea. And you go back to the very first 2 measures, repeating again, maybe 4 more times. And then this is what I call the last idea, or the last main part of this song, which is perhaps the most complicated one, rhythmically and perhaps for your right hand. And it's how long? 2 more measures long. And then you repeat it twice again. So we have 4 measures in total. And then you see what happened next. Remember what we call the 2nd idea? And then the very last measure, what we call the third main idea, right? Don't forget at the end you have your repeat sign, and it takes you back to 17 and you repeat again, and then you finish. Doesn't take you back to the top, so be aware of that. Okay, now last but not least, let's see what happened in this main idea. This third, fourth idea and last one. Let me play it for you. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and looks simple. I can say it is. It's not really so hard, but it has its tricky rhythmic subdivision that you have to make sure that you count. Okay, let's see what happened here first. First, we have a bass line. You see the stems going down: E, D sharp, D, C sharp. And then on top, you see the stems going up. It's just simply G and B open. Of course, we need to know exactly where we play those G's and B's. So let's first discuss what happened in the lower part. So if I open the screen so you can follow my left hand, we have E, we're on the fourth string, second fret, E sharp, fourth string, first fret, fourth string, open D, and then we have to switch up to fifth string, fourth fret with finger 4. I want you to notice that E is the second fret, so we started with finger 2, D sharp, finger 1, because it's on first fret, open D, and then, so maintain those fingers for those frets. I'm pretty sure you can play them with different fingers, but then you might be shifting your hand up and down. So your hand is in place. All right, which finger am I using? B, like I said before, free stroke. And then what happened next in that part? You're playing your G, third string open, and your B, second string open with index and middle. I want you to remind you that when we have the G, third string open, very first time in this song, we were playing it with rest stroke. Remember that rest stroke? But in this case, as we're doing like a right hand arpeggio, you want to make sure that P, I, and N are playing free stroke, okay? And then if you see what happened on top, like I mentioned before, B and G, ties, tie. So you gotta be counting your subdivision. If I show you what happened with the subdivision first, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. First, don't forget that this is an easy half note, 2 beats. Then we have a dotted quarter, beats and a half. Don't forget you play this one on 3. It goes through its N, 4, and then this D is played N of 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, N. Then you have the D tie, another dotted quarter, and eighth note N of 2. And then this eighth note is tied to a half note, 3 and 4 N. So coming from this D sharp, you have 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 3, 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4. All right. Now if I try to subdivide and count everything, 1, 2, ready, go, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, my bad, 1, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, 4. 3 and 4. Okay, one more time. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. That's the subdivision out loud that I should be saying. Okay, if we try to clap it, it's a little bit interesting. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. if I open the screen and play for you, I want you to pay attention to my left hand and right hand, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and one more time. All right. One more thing about the right hand, don't forget that B is always playing E, D sharp, E, C sharp, and my index and middle are just plugging those third and third string open. And one last thing before we finish this video, I wanted to look what happened. I already have my finger 2 ready on E, but my finger 1 is already placed on D sharp. So I just play my E, and I'm already there. When I play the D open, you see my hand, it's kind of in the air. It's in the air actually, but my fingers are curved, and my finger 4 is ready for my D sharp, C sharp. So make sure to avoid this. And then you're doing this, okay? So you have the fingers to play. We had to repeat it again. So what I do when I'm playing the C sharp with the G and B, I already have my finger 2 ready on E, so I can bounce back and repeat it again. So when you play it, repeat it. Right? So make sure you practice those 4 different sections, okay? If you notice, every section is like 2 measures long. And it's so repeated, right? So repeating all over the place. So we are repeating the very first measure through the entire song. And then practice those different sections we discussed. This is actually your solo. Nobody's playing what you do in here. 2 measures long. And then you'll have the entire song, okay? So I hope this could be very helpful when it comes to putting the song together, and that you have fun practicing your Oye Como Va, all right? See you later. Bye.